Hello again, all. I've wanted to do this for a really long time. I just never got around to it. Never actually thought about it until I was sitting here shedding some parts. And I used the tunes and the Roland to actually shed wood shedding. Some of the parts that I play, either live on stage or even in the studio. There was a pattern that I loved that came from Ansley Dunbar. Ansley Dunbar, when he was with the Frank Zappa band. I heard an album a long time ago called The Grand Wazoo. And it was it wasn't the comedy rock that Frank was doing at that particular time. This was like a jazz album, kind of. It had some other straight ahead stuff in it, but this was the main title cut, called The Grand Wazoo, had a kind of a jazzy triplet flavor to it. And Ansley actually did this pattern that I use a lot, and it's based kind of like a normal triplet and a Swiss triplet all over an ostinato bass. Now, all that technical stuff isn't necessary, but I'm going to let you take a listen to this to see how it works. As you can hear, the bass drum, the ostinato bass drum, just pumps along like boom, 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 boom. Over and over. And it gives it that kind of a nice lope that goes along. And this was actually during when I think George Duke was playing the solos. He was actually going through, and it does that same pattern on the hi-hat or on the cymbal. Right now I'm going to keep it on the hi-hat, make it a little quieter. And it uses that triplet feel on the snare drum, the Swiss triplet feel. So when you put the two together, in case anyone doesn't know what a Swiss triplet is a triplet that doesn't alternate. It stays on the same side. It does 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and and the answer to it on the ride cymbal, hi-hat, or whatever is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have that lope. It's almost like related to the Purdy Shuffle, but it isn't that as complicated as the Purdy Shuffle. So if you did a Swiss triplet, it turns into, there's a flam right on one together. But you put it on different instruments. It turns into quite a nice shuffly kind of lope. And it's really kind of jazzy when you put the ostinato bass to it. And he did that during the solos, and it made everything take off because he started using the snare drum. He heard me do little intermittent type strokes. As we were going along, and then occasionally he went up to a tom-tom. So it really does kind of give it a really nice kind of bounce. And you can play it. It's a really good kind of groove to it. It has to be played at a certain tempo. If you pick it up, like the way Purdy said, it has to be played a little slow side. If you pick it up, feels kind of sterile and machine-like. So if you play it to a really nice groove, and by the groove that I had, that's at quarter note equals 122 beats per minute. It's a really kind of nice, easy going. You can play a lot of things over top of it. I think you'd have fun with that one. Why don't you give it a try? Talk to you later.